Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I've got a little bat on my shoulder saying to let the whole world burn.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
You know, people who aren't subscribed to the Patreon but have listened to every episode might think that's a Rosario Vampire reference.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Remember the exposition bat?
Yeah, I how could I ever forget about the exposition bat?
It's seared into your brain.
Which crazy coincidence because this week's anime it's all about a gay exposition bat.
That's not the most wrong.
What the fuck do you mean it's not the most wrong?
I mean, it's pretty gay and it's got some exposition in it, and I think I see a bat in it at one point.
It's just about a gay vampire.
Afraid not, no. No gay vampires this time.
Cowardice.
But no, Rem. Today we're going to be talking about an anime. Let's just get straight into it. It's Pride Month. We still got at least one more Pride episode after this, so who knows what can happen. And this week we're going to be watching an anime from 2017.
All right. It's an oldie.
Don't. Hey, bud. Hey, bud.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shaun. Do you still view the 2017 season of anime as relatively new?
It's not about whether or not I view it as such, Rem. The point is, you shouldn't point it out to me. Because I am sensitive.
Oh, man.
And, this anime is about the relationship between, first of all, it's called Hitorijime My Hero, or My Very Own Hero.
Okay.
Nothing to do with My Hero Academia, so don't worry about that.
So it's not a superhero love story.
It is not.
Okay.
Yep. It is about a romance between two characters that at one point in our main character's life he gets rescued by this other main character from some bullies and thugs, and he looks up to him, and then he meets him again a little later in his life, and it's about their relationship between each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's about our main character, Masahiro Seitagawa, and he is basically constantly bullied throughout his young teenage years. And one day, he meets an individual by the name of Kosuke Oshiba, who is colloquially known locally as the Bear Killer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Which in a yaoi manga could mean two very different things.
Yeah.
But no, it's more so he is a bit of a delinquent who focuses on beating up other gangs and delinquents, essentially.
Okay.
Yep. And, he views this mysterious entity as like a hero, and though at the time doesn't know that he's, developed feelings for him, just knows that he is like an individual that he can very consistently look up to because he spent so long, being a gopher for a bunch of bullies and ruthless people. But everything changes about a year later when he actually runs into Kensuke again and is, able to actually directly interact with him and form a relationship with him.
And he's like, hey, baby, want some fun?
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Because it all starts out like, oh man, I can't wait to be friends with this guy. And then you know how that story goes. You start as friends, and then things go from one side to another, and then...
And then you got a podcast.
Yes, the podcast is just an allegory for our repressed urges. Yes, because you and I actually met after you rescued me from a bunch of bullies. Granted, you
course.
were one of the bullies, so it made things a little easier, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get on the inside first.
It's like, man, I've been bullying this kid for 3 years, I don't think that's right. I should stop these people that are bullying him.
And then I just have a good talk in the mirror, and I'm like, hey, don't worry. They won't be bullying you anymore. And you're like, will you? And I'm like, ha, good talk.
And thus is the podcast. But yeah, no, it's a pretty straightforward show. There's a large number of people that really enjoy this show, and there is if I'm not mistaken, a corgi in this show as well.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, I'm sold.
You're sold, okay.
Say less.
Yeah. And okay, are you sure you don't want to know the one more thing about this show?
I guess.
As soon as you heard,
you said the most important thing. So
the most important thing, I think there's occasional cats and corgis. That is true. The one last bit of information you need to know, Remington, is that Kosuke Oshiba, the one who saved our protagonist here, the reason that they are closer is because after a year has passed, they are attending high school, and shock and horror and twist, Kosuke is actually their new math teacher.
No, wait, no.
So, without further ado, Rem, let's go watch some Hitorijime My Hero. And we are back after watching 5 whole episodes of 2017's Hitorijime My Hero. And Remington, was this a surprise sleeper hit of great representation, or was it everything you hate about this particular genre? And then some.
So, but based on the description, I was worried that it was going to be trash, but that doesn't necessarily... There can be good trash.
I mean, look at us.
I am one of the few that stands as a non-horny defender of domestic girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just on that island by myself. But it's possible. It can be done.
Mm-hmm.
So, even though the premise is a bit out there, it's still theoretically possible.
I mean, hey, the premise was fine until you found out that it was a teacher-student relationship.
Yeah.
That's where the hiccup is.
So let's jump into it, Shaun. First, one thing that'll immediately strike you, first shot, you're like, ooh, it's kind of pretty. And some moments are.
Yes.
Some moments genuinely look quite nice.
Correct.
Most moments, less so.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, one part that they kind of skimp in the effort and quality of is character design. Character design somewhat important, especially for animation, because this is how these characters are recognized, right? And so it's kind of difficult when you just say, all right, most of the guys are going to look vaguely similar. But you get the one's short, I guess. That's but
yeah.
But it's still the good old anime trope of safety of, hey, at least they have different hair colors, right? And that's the main way that you can tell the difference, especially in the first episode early on, as you're learning them all. Mm-hmm. Because you're not well equipped to understand whatever character they might have, and so that's your only indicator. So, Shaun,
yeah.
Let me ask you, with that in mind, why the fuck do they get so fucky with the hair colors in episode 1 especially? Why would you do... I'm trying to learn these characters, right? But you're like, no, actually, let's introduce you to the main character. He's Seti, and he's part of this gang and this crew. He has some bright orange hair, and here's some interactions. Oh, but let's cut to school with these two kids. All right. Oh, what? I don't know if we're flashing forward or back, or if we're in a flashback or what. It's not abundantly clear immediately. Because it kind of just loosely goes back and forth between these two realities. And once again, if you know what's going on, it's clearer. But okay. The two boys, one of them has blonde hair. The other one has dark grayish brown. Okay. Here's the problem. Also, the blonde kid and the red hair kid, they're the same kid. All right, they're the same kid. as it turns out. An annoying factor is the fact that when we get introduced to him, the gang is calling him by a nickname, oh, good old Seti, and then when he's blonde, he's called Setagawa. Which, I understand the link there, don't get me wrong, but do we need to add another layer of, like, cognitive confusion? I'm not saying I'm stupid enough that I can't put the pieces together, but why should I have to? And then, with Oshiba, the other guy, they decide to get real cute with the animation of his hair, Shaun. Because I described it as a dark grayish brown.
Yeah.
They also like to have lighting affect the hair color, as it does in real life, you know? So, in nighttime scenes, he actually has black hair, and then if it's really bright or kind of like afternoon-style orange lighting, then he definitely has brown hair, just to fuck with you even further. Okay, we have two other characters. One of them has black hair, and the other relevant character has kind of a reddish-brown. Why are you doing this to me? Why? And once again, if you just simplified it a little bit, if you didn't have the weird flashback, flash forward, back and forth sequence, that would have helped a lot. If you didn't get weird with the lighting of the hair, that would have helped a lot. If you didn't have your main character dye their hair, or undye their hair, or whatever the fuck's going on there, that would have been useful if you had good character designs, so I didn't need to only rely on their goddamn hair color, because there's nothing else to go off of in episode 1.
I mean, it also doesn't help that two of them have the exact same hairstyle as well.
It's so rough. And once again, if there's any defenders of the show, they're gonna be like, oh, Rem, you're such a dumb cunt. How could you not understand it? I got there. I understood it. It's just unnecessary cognitive labor. You understand? It's just, why do that? It's like, okay, we're going to put on a play, right? We're going to put on a play, and there's going to be 5 guys, all with the same hair color and style. Okay, I'm not going to know who is who. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to be confused in that audience. Because I'll be like, oh, black hair guy, oh, fuck. Is he the one in red or auburn? Fuck. No, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. But hey, alright. Early frustrations over. Let's actually talk about the fucking show.
Because, I mean, yeah, that's just a design gripe for you, really. Like,
yeah, and granted, it's a multi-layered design gripe, but just a design gripe.
Yeah, because, like, you know, usually when you get into nitpicky things like that, usually you have a high opinion of the show. Is that the case for this one, Rem?
Well, we opened up Setagawa. He has always hated TV heroes because they're not real. Kind of a weird, that's, I don't know, being like, it's such a strange opinion to have. You're like, fucking Wolverine, goddamn bullshit. He's not real. Okay, yeah. But that's fine. All right. But he ends up finding a real life superhero in the Bear Killer who takes down injustice and takes down all the gangs. All right. Wow. What a badass. And you mentioned that this, like, this is pretty pivotal to the premise. This is the Bear Killer. He takes down gangs. Setagawa, he was in a gang, reformed, and then Bear Killer ends up being the teacher to Setagawa. Oh my God. And they fall in love. The Bear Killer bit is irrelevant. It's
100%.
Fucking irrelevant. So why this preamble about TV heroes and about how he's a hero because he does this? Why the moniker at all? Why is this like seen as like a little bit of the selling point of the hook? Why not just bring it up in a weird flashback that they love to do? Why make it so pivotal to the introduction of these characters? And also the problem, Shaun, you know me.
Yeah.
When I watch an anime, and take my notes, right? I will write down the first name for a character that I hear. And that's mostly what I go with.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep calling him Bear Killer throughout the whole thing. Because that is the only name for him that I have in my notes. Despite the fact that they very quickly stopped calling him Bear Killer.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I just wanted you to be ready, because I'm gonna be like, oh, Setagawa, Oshiba, Bear Killer. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen a lot. That's just how it's gonna go.
Hey Rem. If I cared enough about this show to heavily correct you on the individual names, we would have another problem.
Yeah.
Like, we would have a bigger problem in the grand scheme of things. I'm not gonna look, I thought it was fucking wild that the whole premise of the show that was presented to me, even back when it came out in 2017, was, this reputation barely fucking factors into the show. Barely factors in. So if it makes you feel better to keep calling him the bear killer, by all means.
It's wild. It's truly wild. So delving actually a little bit more into shit, all of what I've just described, that's more or less like the first episode. It's kind of messy. You have Setagawa, he's the main character. He used to be in a gang, now he's reformed and has no personality whatsoever. Then he has a friend, Oshiba. Oshiba, he's young and naive and short, right? And then we meet Hasakura. Hasakura? Hasekura. And we meet him. Oh my god, he's such a hot guy. He's such a hot guy, and he used to be friends with little Ushiba, but then they had a little friend breakup. And they haven't talked since. Okay, sure. And then of course we have the bear killer. At the end of episode 1, we learn, he's the teacher. So episode 2, Shaun, I think you will agree with this. The love story, the main love story, the A story of the series.
Yeah.
That's Setagawa and bear killer, obviously.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
In first episode, you gotta introduce a lot and you gotta introduce the premise, so it's understandable that we don't get a ton between them other than exposition.
Mm-hmm.
The following 2 episodes, they're hardly in it at all, and we just handle Oshiba and Hasakura's entire story arc.
Yes.
We just say, hey, I understand what you're here for. We're immediately, this isn't going to be a mid-season thing. We are going to just not worry about the A story right off the fucking bat for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Weird decision. A weird decision.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that, like, a bunch of girls really are into Hasakura and are into him and want his info, and they want Oshiba to help him, right? To help them because he used to be friends, blah, 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 blah. They will repeat that scene where the girls go to Oshiba and are like, hey, help us get his info and his number and shit. 3 or 4 times. There is not much of a difference.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but okay. We see a little bit of Bear Killer teaching, right? We also see Bear Killer and Hasakura have a moment together that's insane. All right, so we got a teacher and a student. Not the student he's into.
Okay.
Just a different student. The student his little brother's into.
Yep.
As Hasakura is coming to school, Bear Killer tells him, hey, with an attitude like that, your good looks are gonna go to waste. Okay. Wildly inappropriate. And then he follows up, you used to be as cute as the girls back in the day. What the fuck are you doing? What the hell? If you're in a position of authority, or also if you're just like a human, don't approach a minor and then say, hey, God, you were so attractive when you were younger. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's not a great look, is it?
Like, let me tell you right now, some people can show up and they'll be like, the culture in Japan is different, age of consent is different. We always get a couple of those people. For very clear reasons, and not even this one. This one, don't even worry about this one. For reasons later, that cannot be a defense for Bear Killer.
Oh no! Hey Rem, I'll tell you right now, there is no defense for anyone in this show.
Oh yeah,
there is zero defense.
I just wanted to, for the people who are lining up with that argument, hold yourself for a minute.
Yeah, like, look, for all the hardcore Fujoshi out there, there's much better stuff out there. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah. So, this episode mostly focuses on Oshiba and Hasakura. Oshiba helps Hasakura with lifting some boxes for a teacher. Cool. And you think, okay, they're gonna like awkwardly do that because they're no longer friends. No, Oshiba immediately, and very melodramatically, more melodramatically than we ever see him again, because once again, he's innocent, naive, and cheery. But extremely melodramatically confronts Hasakura about the breakup. And just how dare you? I'm hurt, I'm scarred, I miss our friendship, our bond. Hasakura is like, you don't think I didn't feel the same way? And it's a weird moment because it comes out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, this is the B plot still, by the way, right?
It's the B plot, and it's gonna be for a hot minute. They kind of go for a kiss but get interrupted by a teacher, then they agree to walk home together. There's more flashback exposition. Most of what we see in this B plot is flashback exposition, which makes it even wilder choice that this is the way they decided to tell this story. They have a little bit of a weird interaction part ways. The next day, they're at school together. Hasakura is being weird and brooding and just an edgelord. Oshiba's like, what's going on? And Hasakura's like, he just yanks him, runs all the way to the train tracks, under the train tracks, a little overpass for the train. And Hasakura just plants one on Oshiba. And he's like, that's how I like you. And Oshiba pushes him away.
Yeah.
Pushes him away. And then Hasakura is like, look, your options are either you cut ties with me again or you sleep with me. What the fuck? How? All right. So the premise is like, oh shit, a teacher-student relationship, that's fucked. And then it's like, oh, but wait, there's another also extremely rapey relationship going on here that blatantly ignores consent repeatedly. How about that one? And I'm like, why? Why is this the way they've decided to do this? You didn't have to do this. You had a choice. And oh my god.
And like I'll say, even if that was the choice they were committed to making, it's not advertised anywhere.
Which is crazy.
Like, everything about this show that is advertised is what I told you in the first half of this episode. Like, even looking at, like, the main cover art, which I'm going to send you right now. Nope, don't upload failed me, you jackass. Well, the point is, in this cover art, you've got the bear killer, and you've got Setagawa, and they are in, like, the top left and bottom right corner, taking up the majority of the frame, and then all the other characters are in the middle. These two characters are very itty bitty tiny right above the title. So
why are episode 2 and 3 entirely devoted to them? But continuing on, even the storytelling is bad. Like, they have a conversation and literally less than a minute later, it flashbacks to that exact conversation they just finished. It's terrible. It's weird and rapey. Episode 3, it keeps going.
Oh yeah.
Largely with similar themes, they end up hanging out, having lunch together on the rooftop. All right, cool. And then Hasakura gets real rapey up there. She was like, hey, what about just being like friends? He makes it clear in a conversation with Setagawa. He's like, I don't want to cut ties with him, but I also don't want to sleep with him. I don't like either option. I want to be friends with him, right? I care about him, but as a friend. He makes this so clear. Like, it is insanely blatant. And Hasakura gets rapey up on the rooftop and is like, here's how you'll change your mind. Let me do whatever I want and touch you for 5 minutes. And Oshiba, it's genuinely horrifying, has a line of dialogue. If I let him touch me, will he let us stay friends? That's what he's thinking that moment, which is mortifying.
Horrific.
And don't get me wrong, you can have media with fucked up characters. Possibly my favorite show ever is BoJack Horseman. That's toxic and it has terrible characters all throughout, and it knows it, and it tells amazing stories with it. It has some of the worst characters, and it's like, yeah, isn't this romantic? What? Just the standards are insane. So Oshiba kind of just lets it happen, oh fuck, it's real uncomfortable. And then a little while later, Hasakura forces another kiss. He's pushed off again. Oshiba is repeatedly saying no. He's repeatedly saying he's not interested. It's like, I care about you, but I really, really, really do not want this. There is not a lot of ambiguity there. This isn't much will he, won't he. This is a firm no. Compare the execution to like last week, right? Last week's anime had some similar stuff. And even there, like I noted a little like tendencies of toxicity, but overall, It was handled okay, but with toxicity there that felt a little bit real. This one,
yeah, it was teenage toxicity.
yeah, it was.
Like,
it still felt like human. This one, I'm like, no, I don't think that this might lead to a failed relationship. It's already starting abusive, and it's just going to continue down that lane. Oh no. Anyway, at the end of episode 3, they become a happy couple, and fuck, I guess. And that's their 2 episodes. Okay. What about episode? Okay, episode 4 and 5, we get more focus on the main romance. That's what it's really about. So even though for some fucking reason they decided to introduce and resolve the B romance in its entirety before even getting to the A romance, maybe the A romance can swoop in and save it. First of all, we briefly see a fat, black, scraggly cat. I love that scraggle cat. He's fun.
I mean, you've rarely met a cat you don't.
It's true. We don't see a lot of them, but I like them. We have a weird moment where Hasakura is just jealous of Setagawa and Oshiba being friends. I don't know, dude. Oshiba and Hasakura have a couple more scenes. They're all bad. Meanwhile, we have a scene with Bear Killer and Setagawa. They go to a corner store, grab some cigarettes together, and then...
Which I don't think you should be doing with a minor, personally.
Yeah, it's a weird, very grooming style interaction, but I'm gonna sort of just yada yada over it. And then Bear Killer has a weird lecture. He's like, hey, man, I just want you to know, I don't like you that way. All right? Which, look, as a teacher, if you think they're crushing on you, first, probably just don't say anything. That's probably the best thing. But then if it does become a problem, yeah, you need to establish firm boundaries. So this, I don't necessarily agree with exactly how it goes about it, but maybe the principle is there. Until in that lecture, he's like, no, look, I don't like you that way. I know that you're fawning over me. I know what you're thinking. You want me to break you, to screw you. Don't say that to your students. Don't fucking do that. That is fuck. So it's like establishing boundaries in the worst possible way. Goddamn yikes.
Like, that's some, like, fucked up reverse psychology bullshit.
Yeah. And then, one day at school, a girl happens to give Setagawa a little sweet lunch sandwich, and that makes Bear Killer jealous, and so he shows up, gets weird and rapey as well, to Setagawa, and kisses Setagawa, kind of out of nowhere. Oh no. Why did it decide to double down on this exact dynamic? Oh no. Jesus Christ.
Methinks there's a pattern.
Like, wouldn't the appeal, even if you're super into this style of show, right? You're like, I'm into boy love, even if it's awfully written and morally terrible, right? I love it because it's just my fetish, I guess. That's the only reason at this point. At this stage, when it gets this bad, even if you were in that demographic, you'd want variety. Surely, you'd want a different flavor of relationship, and not just two of the exact same. Like, I guess there's a minor difference that Oshiba is a little more innocent than Setagawa, but other than that, it's pretty comparable.
I mean, it's a green M&M versus red M&M situation.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. Then we get to episode 5, and so for all the people with the weird culture difference arguments, all right, let's go. Here we go. There's an awful scene here where it is more or less revealed, I would argue quite blatantly. Like, they try to go for the tiniest bit of plausible deniability, but not much at all. Bear Killer essentially thinks back to when he first met Setagawa, right? And he kind of just has a flashback montage of falling in love with a literal child. I wish that I could describe it in a different way, but at its core, that is what it is, and that is awful. Like, Bear Killer technically is like, oh, I totally didn't have feelings for him then. But then every character around him is like, yeah, you've always been into Setagawa, which is not. I'm genuinely baffled. Like, it might be the most blatant about this kind of thing that we've ever seen. Because it looks you in the eye in an already problematic scenario, right? And then says with its chest, even younger though, which is a fucking insane decision. That's fucked. That's fucked.
Yeah.
Because I would have complained about it either way, don't get me wrong. The dynamic is already almost as unhealthy as can be, and it's like, let's ramp it up even further. And let's emphasize the fact that Setagawa truly admired Bear Killer as a role model for how to grow up and become a person. The fact that Setagawa comes from a troubled home life, so it felt like this is the only family he could meaningfully have, right? It is grooming without hiding it, but while also glorifying it. It's I don't know who the fuck thought this was a good idea.
That would be Studio Encourage Films, which is an unfortunate name for the studio considering the subject matter. Yep. They haven't made much. We've only ever covered one show they've done in the past, and it was good, but a niche show. It was a skull-faced bookseller Honda-san.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know? The cute little, like, limited animated comedy with the manga bookstore. Very simple, straightforward, fun, easy. Yeah. That's the only other thing that we cover from them, and it is that is their third highest rated show, and this is their fourth highest rated.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, they've only done about 17 shows total. So
I joked in the Discord that this anime represents gay people like they are conceptualized by hard right Republicans, where they're like, I mean, all of them are just dirty predators, and Hitorijime is like, you're damn right, which is, oh my fucking god, man. This is in the category where it's not just like bad, but it's in the category where it's bad in baffling ways. It's not just lazily bad. It deliberately cratered itself at every turn.
A slight correction: they were only a producer on Skullface Bookseller. So they gave money to it, but that's about it. Yeah, man. In which case, this is their third most popular show.
That's horrifying. That is truly,
truly
horrifying. This was fucked. This removed some faith in humanity for me. This was I almost messaged you like, do I really need to watch 5? And unfortunately, the answer was like, kind of yes, because they don't do the main relationship until episode 4.
Hey, man. Yeah, like, most of the time, if it's a really awful trash anime, I only make you watch 3 episodes, because I'm like, he'll get the picture. But this one was so weirdly paced and formatted that, fuck, I gotta show him 5, so he at least gets some of the quote-unquote most important relationship dynamic. Like, because, what else am I supposed to do?
It is bonkers. And genuinely, actively disgusting how episode 5, not even in just the ways I've said, there are other ways throughout the episode where they're like, hey guys, really think about their relationship up till now. Really think about how they've known each other for quite a while. Oh man. Like it, oh my, this is pedo bait. This is direct bait for individuals with those leanings. And even more than like lolly shit. Way more than that. Because this one, lolly shit, is either borderline or with plausible deniability, blah blah blah. I'm not even gonna get in that argument. This once again, it looks you straight in the eyes and doubles down.
Yeah. And hey, Ram, just make sure that you don't have any misunderstandings here. I did watch the whole season, right? And like in the back of my mind watching, I was like, it's not going to happen. But I was hoping beyond hope that it would end with, I don't know, somebody in jail. That would be nice. Or at the very least, like, a separation, a realization of the problematic aspect of it. No, it just ends with the series literally ends with a wholesome kiss scene between the quote unquote the two protagonists of this show, and that's it. And like, let me tell you, I wish I wish I wasn't committed to watching full seasons of things before showing them to you. I really wish I wasn't, because like, if you thought it was bad there, man, does it get also sketchy and worse throughout. Ooh.
I didn't talk much about Bear Killer's like actual personality beyond, certain tendencies he has. But don't worry, he is an extremely manipulative asshole.
Oh yeah. Like, this goes beyond like Seme Uke stuff. This is just, they took a trope and then just really pushed a very specific narrative that was very unfortunate.
And look, other than the pedo shit, but like the power dynamic stuff of just like kind of being an asshole and getting into dubious consent. If that's the how you get your rocks off, if you're into that kind of hentai, sure. Don't pretend it's romance. Don't pretend that you're telling a story about real love and relationships and a bond that we're supposed to fucking root for. All right? Like, it's one thing to be like, yes, these are my dark fantasies. Okay. But to try and be like, no, actually, this is, oh man, what a sweet relationship. I wish I had something like that. It's just, oh, look at them, so in love. No, that is a disconnect from reality, from humanity, from any sense of moral decency. It's just, come on.
Yeah. Look, man, a good drama-based romance should make you feel complicated feelings. These feelings are not complicated.
They're not
these
at
feelings
all,
are bad. No. These are just bad.
Yeah.
These are not a good vibe. And Rem, wanna know what the worst part is?
What?
We get a lot of emails.
Oh, no.
We get a lot of emails recommending bad things specifically.
Yeah.
And this was nowhere near the worst of the ones they suggested to send our way.
God.
I tried watching some of the other ones, and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. Because, like, I have to show at least one bad form of representation because, that's, you got to know the bad to understand the good sometimes.
Yeah, it ain't all good, unfortunately.
Yeah, and this was one of the worst ones I could stomach watching without wanting to tear my goddamn eyes out, essentially. And that's mainly due to the fact that, God, it was like watching, like, it's so samey throughout the whole thing that, like, it's easy to glaze over and just take it in, unfortunately, which is the best compliment I can give it, is that I could somewhat turn off my brain while watching it, because if I turned on my brain for more than a second, it would hurt. Other shows I couldn't do that with. I'm sorry I had to do this to you, Rem. I'm sorry.
I died a bit on the inside.
Yeah, hey, buddy, same. But great news. There was theoretically more to be adapted. It has not gotten like a shred of like nostalgic bait in the community for anything. Most of all the recommendations for it were along the lines of, hey, during Pride Month, if you need something to hurt the boy with, this one's pretty fucking bad. So our audience, generally speaking, understands that this is bad representation in a bad situation overall.
Thank God for that.
So you can have faith in our audience specifically. But the question is, Remington, what do you think the Mal score for this one is?
No. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to think it through. Which is gonna be hard because my brain is
fried. Yes, I understand.
Oh, it's so fried right now, dude. All right. There's a lot of what's the term? I think it starts with an F. Fujoshi. There's a lot of Fujoshi.
Or Fudanshi for the male equivalent.
Yeah. Who just they're all in to almost any boy love yaoi shit.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as it pains me, I think most of them are still gonna be down with it. They're gonna be like, yeah. All right, what about the general shoujo fans who just want some romance? I think it'll alienate a decent part of them. Some will still stick with it. I'm gonna say lukewarm reaction from them. General public outside of it, negative, but also less likely to go into it in the first place. So a bigger pool overall, but a way smaller percentage of that bigger pool. Okay. So I'm feeling something low middling. I wish that I could just say like super insanely low.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be a 7. I don't think it's gonna hit 6.
Even though you think it should be like in a 3 or 4,
God.
maybe 2 even.
Yeah, it should be fucking cratered, dude. 7 point... Reasoning it through in my head, even though it's not a terribly high number, I'm like, this is way too high. And so I want to like keep mentally bringing it down against my own calculations. I'm going to say, okay, I'm not, my calculations say like 7.23. So that's what I'm going to go with. I want to just in my heart bring it down 0.1 or even 0.2. But logically speaking, I think like 7.23 is the actual ballpark we're working in.
Yep. Okay. Well, Rem, so the first bit of good news, only 83,000 people have rated this show. And it's a show from nearly a decade ago.
So it's dying.
The chances of
It's dying.
Very much so, yeah. Like, the closest thing this has ever gotten to any publicity in the past, like, 10 years is us.
Yeah, this exists for horny motherfuckers and to hurt people.
Yes. Sorry, Rob. But, so 83,000 ratings. And with the 83,000 ratings, Hitorijime My Hero is sitting, I can't say nice and pretty. It's sitting, it's there, it exists, at 7.28.
Oh, God, it's still higher.
Yeah, no, like Rem, I was like 7.2. Oh, he's gonna nail it. 8. Yeah, no, it's still just a little bit higher. It's just a little bit higher.
Oh, man.
And Rem, I'll tell you this right now. Every single like bad review and not recommended on Mal covers all of the things that you discussed. Like, you are very much of the people in this. The people who hate this show are on your side. Where it gets weird is the people who like the show, right? Because we got some weird Mal statistics going on here. Right? Like, if you don't like a show, it makes perfect sense not to finish the series, right? I mean, Lord knows you're not going to finish this one. Yeah, and in a lot of reviews, they list how many episodes that they have consumed of it. What is concerning to me is the recommended ones. For example, this one right here, they don't say how many episodes they did, but their overall statement is, I would recommend this to someone who is new to Shonen Ai or anyone who loves sweet conflict. 8 out of 10.
Mother of God.
I take it you would not say this is a good first option.
No! Never!
Oh, God. Another example. The last line of this review is, if you have time to spare and looking for an almost slice of life anime, try the first 4 episodes and see how it goes. Reviewer rating, 8 out of 10. And, of course, they only watched 7 out of the 12 episodes.
What the fuck?
My guy, it's a fucking enigma on this website sometimes. Someone gave it, like, the people who gave it 10 out of 10, like, I'm not even going to go break down into it. Like, there's a whole ass essay where someone gave it a 10 out of 10, and I skimmed it, and I was like, oh, this guy doesn't understand how people work. Oh, poor guy. And it is wild. Like, most of the positive written reviews don't dip below 8. And that's insane. But thankfully, there are way more not recommended reviews and mixed feeling reviews than recommended. Thank Christ. It's just that, for whatever reason, it's a little weighted at the top by all the people who think this is a 10 out of 10 show simply because of the demographic and genre. And that is horrific.
Here's my hot take. Even all the people who have mixed opinions, they have just as bad opinions. Because they are likely to be suckers for just about any romance that's filled with bad and lazy tropes. It just, this one went a little too far. And basically, if you see merit in this show, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not going to say I hate
highest mixed review
you.
that I have access. Oh, hey, Rem, I will. I hate you.
I think that if you have favorable opinions about the show and we meet, I think it's just matter and antimatter connecting.
There's either going to be a nuclear explosion or a black hole.
Like, it's just going to be fucked. There's going to be collateral damage.
Also, hey, Rem, a mixed review, that would be like a 5 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
This is a mixed review where they gave it a 4 out of 10.
That's still kind of in the realm of reason. Not really for Mal
this show
ratings.
Yeah.
But that's at least a little bit closer.
Yeah, because like most of these others gave it 5 out of 10 for their mixed review, and I don't want to read the mixed review ones because I feel like they'll make me sad.
I genuinely, I'm kind of just like, why only go halfway? Either, like, what do you think has merit? And if it's just, oh man, the concept of guys being together, like, I don't know, raise your standards, all right? You're a little sawdust muncher, and I think we need to fix that diet.
Just look at this review. I don't need to read it out, but it made me want to die when I saw it. It made me want to die a little bit. Because some people fundamentally misunderstand how things work. Okay,
I'm going to give the concept of the review. The concept of this review is, and I've kind of touched on it, but they're talking about, like, oh, just because it has, like, problematic elements, like, fiction can represent problematic elements. Just because the show has a murder in it doesn't mean it's condoning murder, right? Here's the thing. This show is supportive of those things. Once again, my favorite show of all time, BoJack Horseman, has all sorts of fucked up shit. I would argue it has even more fucked up shit than this show, by a good margin. The difference is it knows, it's aware, and it represents that earnestly, honestly, in a meaningful way. It does it to say something, whereas this one is like, oh yeah, that's fucked up. Isn't it cute and loving? No. Do you see how that's different? Do you see how one is condoned? Even if you're like, oh yeah, I guess he's a little pushy, but I still want them to be together. That's a fundamentally different response to, wow, these are extremely manipulative, abusive, and grooming techniques that cause a lot of tangible harm, is an insanely toxic and abusive route to go down with a relationship, and that's kind of fucked. Isn't this a tragedy? That's not the story they're telling here.
Yeah, I would argue that it's not that at all.
Like, they're like, oh, just because the show has something bad, that means they're condoning it? No, obviously that's not true. But with this show, it very much is.
Oh, God. Also, folks, don't rate something super highly to counteract bad reviews. Rate things how you actually feel they should be rated. Like,
unless
just have some integrity.
It is one of the following: Forest Fairy 5, Pui Pui Molcar, Banana, Say. Any of those, feel free to rate 10 out of 10 in all circumstances. But if it's not one of those four, then be accurate and honest.
Yeah, because fucking hell, you're not helping anybody. The last thing we need is things like this to get more positive attention. Which is why we are giving it strictly negative attention, and the positivity comes from Rem being frustrated and people who enjoy that.
I'm losing it.
Well, hey, Rem, look on the bright side. You never have to watch this show ever again, because even if people wanted us to revisit it to see how much worse it gets, fuck them. I ain't watching this bullshit again. One episode is enough, dog. And for all those recommending the much worse stuff, I'd have to be in a sadistic fucking mood to do that to Remington. Like, my God, this is scratching the surface of how bad some of these shows can be, Rem. Which is why, this Pride Month, hey, highlight the good shit. Look at all the really good stuff. We talked about 2 shows this month already that Remington viewed favorably. One with some concerns, and one that was just objectively favorable. So, hey, there's great stuff out there. Just be sure to look for it. But with all that in mind, Rem, the final question I have to ask, which you're going to say no to, but I got to ask it anyway because it's format. Hitorijime My Hero, ever again?
No.
Okay. Hey, rip the Band-Aid off. We're done. That's it. With that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy us basically calling out awful media for how awful it truly is, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can access all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. I forgot about the Twitch, but that's okay.
Shit's going down with Dokapone there. Still happening.
Twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext. You're welcome to go there if you like. We won't be offended if you don't, though. But Rem, who are we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus. who are anything in the show. Just take anything that happens. Just insert here. There we go. Zombie Stomp, Xanax, Yandere Neko, Yams and Eggfest, Why Shaun, Whisper Me a Metallica Song, Where's Our DBZ Review, you ginger fuck, Wes Kane, Watching Requiem for Spoon Man at 0.5 speed, Utah #1, Unhinged Prax, Totally God's Angel, Titan CNH. This show is a ploy to get to be the mayor of Goontown. There's no capybara, only Wabbit. The Susanator, the Spoon Man, now that's the Shaun Man, the Pocket Big Hole you need in your pocket, the Flying Spaghetti Monster, the Danish Viking will conquer the world with Roro Zoro as my navigator, Turpin, Super Zoo, Stacy's mom, Snaky Pie, Shrek is love, Shrek is life, Shaun's topless Rem figure arts, collector's model, Shaun wants to give Spoon Man a thank and yank. Shaun, we must drop kick some devils. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when he made my tummy so big and round it hurt so bad. Please let me see a doctor. I can't take it. Shaun, I've returned to the Shaun block to tell you my friends want you to torture Rem with more ecchi anime. This was enough. No, thank you. Shaun had a last that could go all night, but he got out of breath when he had to blow her up. Shaun can do these nuts. Seraphim the shark plushie. Sugoi to Kai, that's what she said. Say, Shikanoko Noko Koshi Ten 3 times. No.
Yeah, it's the new like hot meme opening song for a comedy anime that's coming out. It's been stuck in everybody's head lately.
I see.
We'll cover it eventually, probably.
Say hi to that guy's fiance. I think it's Haley. Sammy K has the Post-Con Blues Animation 2024 was awesome. Can't wait for next year. Ross Palmer. Rhiannon Williams. Remington needs to rewatch Attack on Titan at 0.75 speed to pay for his sins. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem hit rock bottom is still on top of Shaun. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Reject modernity, embrace tradition, goons are henchmen, not porn addicts. Pro tips out of context. The next time someone tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would, they already have. Professor Fox, Pockwell Musico, Onichi 10 out of 10 family show, No Waifu No Laifu, Nick, Necrodancer 1415, musical episode guy here with Spoon Man to say thanks for the second musical episode. Mikasa Tsukasa, Mekeika 7 Hierto, making fake mal accounts so I can rate Force Fairy 5 10 out of 10, Macaroni Uchisa, Link Joe Curl, Kylo, King Rich Rock, Cassidy, Jergidius, Jax, Jam Hands, Icon Scout, I'll date someone as long as they're not a normal human. I don't care if they're a boy or girl. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I tried manscaping with a straight edge razor. I once met the Spoon Man, and his abilities to ladle soup was far beyond that of mere mortals, recalls Misaka. I had to change my Patreon name for a podcast about dinosaurs, sorry. I can't believe I made an account for this. Glenn Michael Dolan, Ginger Weeb, Fern the guy who did the thing that one time. Farmer Weebs wants to thank Rem for his new gooning kink with a dead girl while her sister watches. Jesus. Fantide, Erica McCorkle, Dwayne The Rock Johnson in a fursuit, Domo, Terpixian Worshipper, Danielle Riot, Daddy Rem Tell Me a Bedtime Story, Cheese Monkey, Celestial Fox. Cat girls are best girls, so give them cute little paws. Rock hard for Dudes, don't read this aloud, just pretend I said something heinous. I was too far in. Blake Star, Bert Bartholomew Flem, Beet Sweet Potatoes Yams Kohlrabi Taro. Been a while since I've changed my name on here, but I got a third 4.0. Can't believe it. I'm also changing my major from funeral. Batman couldn't hate fuck that information out of me. Are we all in our cum era? And every day that Raven comes to visit. Amazing Muffin. All hail Pui Pui Philosopher King. AJ Tunnels. Aisha Gucci. A moe piece of trash. To the tune of Dayman from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know Dayman. But it's just Spoon Man, Fighter of the Knife Man, yeah, I'm sorry, I've been told I need to watch it, but I haven't.
Yeah, Rem, it's a show that's kind of up your alley. Like, it's about horrible
people. A billion people have told me that, and I believe them, and I've seen clips, and they are up my alley, but I've never watched a full episode. Joey Wheeler, Slime Reincarnates needs a revisit, week 1. All right, now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, you fuck?
They're going to get something nice and wonderful.
All right. Vincent.
Just keeping it simple.
Vincent Calabrese.
You're going to get, cherry blossoms.
That Mouse Girl.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Tails Williams, fine security cameras.
Wholesome Pride Month stuff.
Sporadic Silver.
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Silent Secondary.
Waves.
Shaun loved being episode cucked by Rare Kumiko.
Lemons.
Scourge, best $20 spent, LMAO.
Let's go with vanilla.
Roscop.
How about dice? Dice are nice.
Remington Chase's laugh is my favorite sound.
Coffee.
Rare Kumiko.
Pet cuddles.
Please show Rem the new train anime from this season, Rare Kumiko.
Rain.
Oh, fuck yeah. Nightshade Blade wants to gush over magical girls.
Affection.
Shaun, Malin, Vadenberg.
Friendship.
Monogatari is a fun story about chasing down the apparitions with a bit of romance, and sometimes can get horrifically fucked.
Super cuddly cats.
Mike.
Bread.
Miguel Delion.
Let's go with presents.
Latina's 430th anime at 21 was initial D second stage Deja Vu. I've just been in this place before. Shaun R 2010.
Brownies. You can decide what kind.
It's just that spy guy.
Relaxation.
I, Rare Kumiko, will continue to support the show with multiple accounts.
A good manga.
I ran out of funny quips, so I'll just make you say cunt weekly.
Crap. What are their names? That Australian comedy group you really like.
Auntie Donna?
Auntie Donna, thank you.
They're so goddamn good.
They are.
Gundam is great for Pride Month.
Let's go with the good episodes of Great British Bake Off.
Go to www.gay.moe. You will love it, says Rare Kumiko.
How about jazz?
Getting baked during Yam Month Thanksgiving dish.
You can have, just some lovely yams.
Digimon Digital Monsters Digimon Garlic Champions. Digimon Digital Monsters Digimon Garlic Champions. Change into Digital Champion.
Garlic bread. Easy.
Decade 1 of All-Father making Patreon accounts until Shaun chose Remington Dragon Pilot.
Place further than the universe. That's
Crosskirk.
Nice. How about, you know what? Let's go with a good hug.
Crimson Reapers, just because of the sides.
You're going to get teddy bears.
Carver 271.
How about a late night chat with your friends?
Blood Cell here to remind you that white blood cells are inferior. You need the red ones to thank and yank anyways.
Hydration.
Beethoven 1201.
Let's go with apples. But
Anonymous.
The good kind. And let's go with privacy. Privacy is nice.
Anime mashup of the week. Initial defrag.
That's kind of funny. Let's go with meditation. Meditation is very nice.
And Animated Z.
Your very nice thing is Remington.
Oh, why thank you. Now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun, as Joey Wheeler, in Joey Wheeler's voice, will say one of his genuine shameful kinks. And
Excuse you? Hold on. I just spent 10 minutes being nice and wholesome. Excuse you? And also, maybe I don't think any of my kinks are shameful. Ever consider that?
And I will give a life lesson that we can learn from it. We start with, Shaun, will you be my Miss Chase?
Look, man, I don't know what to do for this.
Come on,
I don't know what to do for this.
Let's hear it. Oh, I mean, just be honest.
Hey, Ram, whatever I say here, like, you're gonna take as a joke and go on for it. Like, this is your little mini revenge, and I know you. I know you.
I won't take it as a joke. I'll take it completely seriously and earnestly.
And that's the problem, man. I don't know if I have any shameful fetishes, honestly.
Just the weirdest
ones.
Like,
weirdest one?
Or in this case, it'll be like the weirdest 5, but you know.
Alright, okay. Someone who genuinely... Okay, hold on. Having someone who just wants to hang out with you. That's nice. That's nice. I like that, you know? And I feel a bit sad admitting that because it rarely happens.
And the life lesson there is, maybe you should shoot for more than the bare minimum there, buddy. Next up we got Rowdio.
Okay, not really ashamed of it, but if I say it, like, I'm gonna never hear the end of it. You know, I appreciate a woman who has big, strong muscles and could, you know, easily kill me.
And the life lesson we can take from that is to watch more WWE when Rhea Ripley's on the screen.
Oh, man.
Next up, we got keep your expectations low. You'll probably be disappointed regardless.
Fuck, that got a little close. Let's see. God, it's hard to think about. Okay, yeah, no, hey, been down this road before, may or may not enjoy the crazy goth GF aesthetic.
And
that might be a problem.
The life lesson there is, why the fuck do you think he's roommates with Dylan?
Amen.
Next up, we got Ihr wollt mein Schätzchen kommt ihr haben.
God, speak of the fucking devil, he just messaged me.
He knows.
He's running to Smith's for bread. Yeah, okay. God damn it. Thinking of this is hard. Yeah, okay, this is kind of embarrassing. Girls with a slight, and I do mean slight, like just the tiniest amount, tsundere tendency.
The life lesson there
like
is...
Shadowheart. Shadowheart's an example.
Don't be a fucking weeb. And last but not least, we got Blue Baron 15.
Genuinely enjoying making things with my friends. There you go, that's a fetish for you.
And the life lesson there is that vanilla can taste great too. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter, or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
I have depression.
But horny depression.
There's no other kind, my guy. You gotta mask it somehow. But with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do. Do I just keep breaking your internet by asking for masturbation euphemisms? Is that how this works?
Let's be honest, I needed to be punched in the face a couple times. And it did have an effect. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I would like to have a threesome with you guys, actually.